Fella, when doctors need to find a tumor inside your body, they give you a glucose solution. You drink it, they scan you, and the cancer lights up like a Christmas tree. Why? Because cancer cells consume glucose up to 200 times faster than normal cells. This is mainstream medicine. So here's the question. If cancer feeds on sugar, why are cancer patients still served sugary jello and juice in hospitals? Why isn't the first advice, stop feeding it?
Wait, cancer cells eat sugar faster? That's how they detect it? But if that's true, wouldn't it be logical to at least ask whether dietary sugar affects tumor growth?
Fair point, Brian. But logic isn't always profitable. In 1931, Otto Warburg won the Nobel Prize for discovering that cancer cells have a fundamentally different metabolism, the Warburg effect. Normal cells can switch to burning fat when sugar is low. Cancer cells cannot. They are addicted to sugar. This has been known for nearly a century. It's like in the Matrix. Neo finally sees the code instead of the world. PET scans are the same code. Doctors see the sugar feeding the tumor and call it diagnostics. But nobody tells the patient to stop feeding the tumor.
Warburg's discovery is foundational biochemistry. Cancer cells rely almost exclusively on glycolysis, breaking down glucose without oxygen. Even when oxygen is available, this inefficient process demands enormous amounts of sugar. In 2018, a study in Cell Metabolism confirmed that high fructose corn syrup accelerates tumor growth in mice. Another in Nature Communications showed that fasting mimicking diets enhance chemotherapy while reducing side effects. The science is consistent, but clinical guidelines rarely emphasize sugar restriction.
Hold on, so you're telling me that cancer is a sugar addict and hospitals keep feeding it? My aunt went through chemo and they told her to eat jello that they were serving. Was that actually helping the tumor?
That's the uncomfortable question, Cleveland. And it's not about blaming the doctors. It's about a system where clinical practice lags years behind scientific discovery. Now, even diagnostic imaging is catching up. New 7 Tesla MRI scanners can detect glucose uptake without radioactive tracers, using the same metabolic principle. The technology is advancing. The biochemistry is confirmed. But the dietary advice? Decades behind.
So let me get this straight. Cancer loves sugar. They know this. They use it to find tumors. But nobody tells patients to stop eating the tumor's favorite food. That's like Walter White dissolving a body in a bathtub and calling it science. The data is there, but nobody wants to look at the mess.
And here's another layer. In 2015, Dr. Kristen Kearns discovered documents in a Harvard basement showing that the sugar industry paid scientists in the 1960s to blame fat for heart disease and downplay sugar's role. That single paper shaped decades of dietary guidelines. Low-fat everything meant high-sugar everything. The average American now consumes about 17 teaspoons of added sugar daily. Sugar-related diseases are at record levels.
But even if sugar feeds cancer, isn't it just one factor? People have eaten sugar for centuries. Why would it suddenly be a problem?
Because the dose changed, Brian. In 1822, the average American consumed about 9 pounds of sugar per year. Today, that's over 100 pounds. More than a 10-fold increase. It's like Marty McFly in Back to the Future. Your body was built for a 19th century sugar supply and suddenly found itself in a 21st century candy store. The hardware is the same, the software is overwhelmed.
A 2014 study in JAMA Internal Medicine found that people consuming 21% of calories from added sugar had a 38% higher risk of dying from cardiovascular disease. Another in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition linked high sugar intake to increased risk of pancreatic and colon cancers. The mechanisms are well documented. Chronic inflammation, insulin resistance, oxidative stress. Sugar doesn't just feed existing cancer, it creates the conditions for cancer to develop.
So what did people do before sugar was everywhere? How did they eat?
They ate whole foods, fella, meat, vegetables, whole grains, seasonal fruit, not concentrated sugar. Breakfast wasn't a donut, it was eggs or porridge. For most of human history, the only concentrated sweetener was honey, and that was rare. The problem isn't the apple, it's the apple juice concentrate in everything from bread to pasta sauce.
Funny how the human body worked fine for thousands of years without a daily 44-ounce soda. Almost like we weren't designed to mainline fructose. But telling people to eat like their great-grandparents isn't as profitable as selling them insulin for a disease caused by sugar. It's like a Fight Club rulebook for health. First rule of nutrition, don't ask who funded the study. Second rule, never ask who funded the study.
And here's the final twist. The same metabolic principle that makes PET scans work, cancer's sugar addiction, is also being explored in therapeutic fasting. Researchers at USC are studying fasting-mimicking diets as an adjunct to chemotherapy. The logic is simple. Starve the cancer, protect healthy cells. But research funding is scarce. Why? Because fasting can't be patented. Chemotherapy can. A course of chemo costs up to $200,000. A month of intermittent fasting costs nothing.
Dr. Valterlongo's 2016 study in Cancer Cell showed that a fasting-mimicking diet improved outcomes in breast cancer patients. But large-scale trials are slow. The pharmaceutical industry funds drug trials. It does not fund fasting trials. The science is there, the investment is not.
So here's what we know. Cancer cells consume sugar at an extraordinary rate. This is used to diagnose the disease. The industry has a history of suppressing sugar's harms, and the same metabolic insight is being studied for treatment, but funding lags because there's no patent. The question isn't whether sugar feeds cancer. The question is, why is this still a debate?
You've just been handed the keys to your own biology. What you do with them is your choice. But don't expect the people selling sugar, chemo, and insulin to hand them to you. They're hoping you never connect the dots.
And this is just one piece of the metabolic puzzle. There's also insulin, intermittent fasting, ketosis. But for now, ask yourself, if PET scans prove cancer loves sugar, what does that tell you about your daily diet?